introduce you? Artemidor says. This is Skajorn Halvard Joshkshan, Manthrian Graven of Fief Mashdai. He is a famous patron and appreciated philanthropist, and we are happy to have him here today at the Lorehold to look at our progress and further plans in regard of the compendium, which he supports in spirit and by monetary means. In both cases we are thankful. Ah, you're too kind with your words, dear sage Philakia, the Graven replies. I simply follow the call of creativity and innovation, wherever they may lead me. My nose for the unusual, if I may say so, has guided me to the Lorehold this very day, and I'm proud to have already made an acquaintance with so many people that share the same spirit and are working towards a greater goal. It is truly my pleasure. You inquire about the Graven's duties. I guess we should consider it a good thing that Commoners asks those questions up there, and what they're actually doing, is it? Tell you what, I like your approach. The Graven seems to enjoy answering to you and laughs. But well, if you want to know, as a Graven I'm part of the kingdom's administration and reign, if you like to use that word, which I prefer to avoid however over a fief. My duties are manifold, but basically I have to maintain the fief the Duke has granted to me, keeping it intact in the cultural, economic, militaristic and political sense. Personally, I guess I'm more a culture person though. Which fief do you govern? Mashdai, up northwest, as the fief I govern with the great Mashdai reservoirs lying in my responsibility. It is part of the Duchy of Margok. So actually I'm just visiting Tolonia right now, which is a whole duchy on its own, by the way, and doesn't have any further fiefs as we have over there. Exact ranks and titles and the functions aren't that easy to understand in Santharia. However, so I leave it at that. Things can get quite complicated, but you don't really want to know that, rest assured. The Graven laughs. How does your love for culture express itself, you inquire? I am quite taken by the idea of the compendium and I support it wherever I can. I also like to provide a means for young poets to develop and thrive. The province of Manthria is famous for grand writers like Monsonius, Thiram, Knas, or the poetess Irfanin Dirandel down here in Sios. And of course I also have a fable for artists and their achievements. Artists? Have you got any preferences in this field, Graven? That's part of why I'm here today. I've received word that the legendary Fogger hides somewhere here in the Lorehold these days, so I'm curious to meet him in person. Really? Fogger is around here in the Lorehold? You wander around, having heard so much about him. He's from near Mercis, up in the Santharian north as far as I know, Graven Hallward informs you. But of course he acquired his proficiency mainly in Bardavos. He worked a while in Markok, where he did a bunch of commissions for noblemen. That's where I got to know his works. I have to say that I'm especially fond of his fantastic portraits, but I haven't met Fogger in person so far. Bardavos? That is the famous city of artists, isn't it? You say dreamily. Yes, indeed, Bardavos, a grand city. It is full of creativity, splendid town. It's indeed a paradise for all free spirits, the Graven being all a swarm. What do you think about the compendium? Sage Artemidor and his team are delivering incredible work with this unprecedented encyclopedia. Even I, who is supposed to have had a good education, cannot learn enough when reading through the entries. The Graven is full of praise, and the more knowledge the compendium brings to the commoners, the better. The Halvord points at the map that lies spread out on the table. Just now we've been discussing further possible Manthrian entries, and I've assured Artemidor every help I can give. It is very important. A spectacular hat you've got there, if I may say so. Oh, you've noticed? The Graven takes the hat off and turns it around in his hands, studying the pompous feathers it features. This was a present I received this morning at the elementary school from the Duke of Tolonia. I'm very glad you like it. I love those Emmentaurs. I have to excuse myself now you ended the talk. Until later. Talk to you anytime again, the Graven says and bows to you. Talk to Artemidor. He's so dark. You approach the sage, noticing that he is constantly mumbling something to himself into his beard, then rolls his eyes to contemplate a thought further. Finally he writes a few more lines down. As he sees you, he makes a final note on his scroll, then bows and bids you to step closer. Greetings to you, you address the scholar. Artemidor nods back to you. Welcome to you as well, my dear visitor, to the humble University of Lorehaven. I hope you enjoy your stay in this temple of infinite wisdom, right at hand in the middle of Lorehaven, this very traditional Manthrian port. He smiles. What can I do for you, friend of wisdom? Might you please tell me your name, you ask? Why, Artemidor, of course. Artemidor Philakia, sage and royal archivist of His Highness, the Centron Tiandor. May the 12 bless his reign. At your service. Who's that Santhron? Artemidor laughs heartily at your ignorance. You don't want to imply that the title of Santhron is unbeknownst to you, ah? He looks at you over with dubious expression. Actually, what did he say? Highness the Centron Tiandor. Well, to help you out there, the Santhron is the title of the Santharia's magnificent ruler, following the name of Santros, the legendary uniter of the southern Servonian realms under one crown. He comes to power through the Tainmood. Tainmood. One never learns enough, you state smilingly. Trying to brush up your political knowledge, aren't you? Artemidor adds mildly. So just to remind you, the Tainmood is a gathering held usually short after the Santhron's death. The new Santhron is elected among the leaders of the 8 Santharian provinces, who are called, not quite coincidentally, the Thanes. You seem pretty important around here, judging from the many people talking to you. What is your function around here? Artemidor smirks. According to my official title, I'd be collector and keeper of all historical, philosophical, and artificial things and goods which promote the Santharian cause in general and all its interests in particular. Others just prefer to call me a sage.